It doesn't matter if you are a believer in the doctrine taught at Woke United Methodist or you think their teachings are absolute garbage. Doesn't matter. The expectation is the same either way. 100% compliance. If you believe in the woke Bible, if you open up your home to daily devotions with your fellow virgins, that's great. That's great. If you don't believe, if you're a critic, if you refuse to get baptized in the woke bath and born again, that does not exclude you from compliance. After all, the religion of wokeism is all about inclusion. You either allow yourself to be included, allow yourself to be indoctrinated, or you suffer the consequences of public humiliation and cancellation. There are thousands upon thousands of colleges and universities across America that openly accept aspiring shitfucks. Here on the channel, we call these universities Woke U. You'll want to learn about Tran Dan conquering Japan? The University of Penn offers courses on it. You want to learn about mythical racism? Jamel Hill tours Woke U campuses across the country teaching the course. As is always the case when dealing with the dregs of society, it was not enough for them to infect public universities with their fungus. No. They have now set their sights on private institutions, more specifically, private religious institutions. Which brings us to Brigham Young University, also known as BYU. Now, you mention BYU to someone, the first thought that comes to mind is the Mormon faith. I know very little about the Mormon faith. I know some segments of the faith practice polygamy. I think those might be considered extreme segments of the Mormon faith. But the Mormon church expects their congregation to abide by the strict rules of the faith. I worked with someone years ago, many years ago, that grew up in the Mormon church. He's a great dude. He is still a devout Mormon to this day. We talk and catch up with each other from time to time, a couple of times a year. He used to tell me about his strict upbringing. It was fascinating to compare our childhoods. I grew up in a more relaxed household. He grew up with strict parents. At 19 years old, when I was out running the streets and partying with my friends, he was on a mission trip which was required by his church. I think they called it a pilgrimage or something to that effect. From my understanding, all Mormons are required to participate once they hit 18 or 19. If I remember correctly, it is a 2-year pilgrimage where they go build churches or share their faith with strangers in other countries. No cell phones are allowed. I think he was allowed to email his parents every so often, but most communication with the outside world was monitored, mostly prohibited. Now, I share all of that with you to highlight the strict rules and guidelines of the Mormon faith, because it begs the question, if you are an aspiring shitfuck, if you're a member of the alphabet community, why in the hell would you want to pay to attend BYU? You know your lifestyle is going to be a problem. You know you're not likely to be accepted by the administration or the student body. Why would you want to put yourself through that misery? The average price to attend BYU is $20,000 a year. Would you be willing to spend that kind of money to not be socially accepted? Doesn't make much sense to me, but what the hell do I know? I'm a logical thinker. Colleges and universities, they often issue pamphlets to incoming freshmen. They will hold freshman orientation to get incoming students more familiar with the campus and the expectations. They will give them pamphlets that include maps of the campus, rules, regulations, whatever the fuck. A coalition of groups that represent each color of the rainbow. They came together this summer to produce an exciting new pamphlet to hand out to incoming freshmen at BYU. Now, the school pamphlet, it might give freshmen the start time for chapel services. The rainbow pamphlet gave them directions to the nearest woke oak tree. School pamphlet might include the nearest McDonald's on their map. The rainbow pamphlet unveiled the location of the non-binary Burger King and Queen, a fast food joint that only accepts meat from gender-void cows. The school pamphlet provides the football schedule. The rainbow pamphlet provides the hours for Woke Mart, so aspiring shitfucks know when bananas and cucumbers will be replenished. This coalition of alphabet groups paid BYU the hefty sum of $200 to have their pamphlet included in freshman orientation. Now, to be fair, in their defense, it appears the school accepted their money and agreed to distribute the material. Now, I don't know what level of the administration made this decision. I don't know if they were presented with one pamphlet by the group and another pamphlet ended up being distributed to students. I don't know. But what I do know, once BYU saw the material inside the rainbow pamphlet that was being given to freshmen, they immediately confiscated all copies and sent them to the WNBA dump for destruction. They also gave the Alphabet Coalition a full refund. Now, this act of defiance and exclusion was met with severe backlash from the butt brigade in the mainstream media. Headline at the Salt Lake Tribune: LGBT groups claim BYU trashed their resources. No one in the mainstream media is defending the religious rights and beliefs of BYU. No. Are you fucking kidding me? Did anyone expect the mainstream media to defend a faith based in Christianity? Instead, the media is defending the woke faith in a place where woke faith isn't wanted. Around this time last year, Jeffrey Holland, who is described as an LDS apostle, he gave a speech at BYU regarding same-sex marriage. He urged students to defend the traditional family unit of marriage between a man and a woman. Now, of course, this speech was met with backlash and criticism throughout the mainstream media. Almost 1 year to the date later, BYU confiscated these pamphlets from the alphabeters. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, this caused so much pain and agony. It reminded aspiring shitfucks of how ostracized they felt after hearing that speech. Some students are seeking counseling on campus for their recurring episodes of PTSD. The Salt Lake Tribune featured this response from an aspiring shitfuck who supposedly attends BYU. Watch for yourself.
So everyone needs to know what BYU just did. So this coming Monday, all of the students are returning to school, or freshmen are coming in, and they receive these gift baskets. And in them, they made a contract with these LGBTQ clubs that are not affiliated with BYU, nor does BYU support them, but they have a contract where they agreed to provide this booklet that they created, the Out Foundation, USGA, Cougar Pride, as well as Rainbow Collective. Over hundreds of hours, and 50 volunteers put their time into creating this booklet full of resources, of housing, of scholarships, of therapy resources for LGBTQ youth that are going to BYU. Today, BYU broke their contract and they destroyed them. They took them out of those baskets and they destroyed them. And I am so mad. I am so mad at BYU right now because it was hard as a student. It is hard to experience that school. And now that is the message that they are sending. That is the message that is coming across to new students, but also to students who are currently there and who are going through what I went through, or even worse, in trying to feel supported and included. BYU does not affiliate themselves with any of these organizations, nor do they support any of these clubs. That these clubs are BYU students who are actively trying to make a difference and support these students. And I'm furious. I am so mad at BYU right now. I don't understand how BYU can continue to isolate and to separate and segregate those who are in that community. It is unacceptable.
I am so outraged at this blatant act of discrimination. How dare they confiscate our pamphlets? We have the right to feel inclusion. No, you don't. You don't have the right to impose your lifestyle on others. You don't have the right to distribute material on the campus of a private Mormon university that does not align with the values of their faith. What do you think the response would be if a Christian pastor was preaching about Jesus on the campus of BYU? Do you think the movement supposedly dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion would welcome him with open arms? Or would they riot during his sermon and throw cucumbers at him to try to silence him? Right now, the mainstream media is attacking BYU on multiple fronts. We just covered the mythical homophobia. Let's move on to the racism. Now, I am not going to call this mythical racism because I really don't know if it's accurate here. This story could be real. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the family/media version of this story. Then I'm going to give you another possible perspective. Ultimately, I'll let you decide what you think happened. In other words, I'm going to once again do the media's job for them. This is how the media is supposed to cover shit like this. Give you both possible sides to the story and let you decide. Now, I'm going off of information that was available as of noon today, so it's possible more info was released after I recorded this video. Friday night, BYU hosted Duke in a volleyball game. Rachel Richardson, she is the lone African-American player on the Duke roster. It's being reported that every time Rachel Richardson served the ball or touched the ball, one BYU fan kept calling her a racial slur. The media is reporting that this happened numerous times, over and over again, not just once. It happened numerous times. Now you would think this would immediately hit the news cycle. But it took almost 24 hours for the story to be reported locally and for it to hit the mainstream. The only reason that it did was because Rachel Richardson's godmother, Lisa Pamphlet, talked about it on Twitter. Lisa Pamphlet just so happens to be running for a seat as a criminal court judge in Texas. What a coincidence. Lisa Pamphlet, along with the mainstream media, they are outraged that BYU did not have the fan immediately removed from the game. After being hit with public backlash, BYU announced last night that they banned this particular fan from any athletic event on the campus. Now, just to be clear, this was not a student. And just to be clear, if this actually happened, it's absolutely egregious. No one should have to put up with this kind of bullshit, much less a young woman trying to compete in volleyball and get her education at the same time. If it happened, I agree here with the media. BYU dropped the ball by not immediately throwing the dude out of the gym. But call me a skeptic. Maybe I have been exposed to lies and propaganda in the media for too long, but I don't know. I don't know about this. I'm not calling Lisa Pamphlet a liar, and I haven't seen any statement from Rachel Richardson, so I don't know what's true here and what's not. But the media is running with the story as if this actually happened without providing any proof. I have read numerous articles this morning about this incident. The only people claiming this happened are the father and the godmother. I haven't seen any corroborating reports from people sitting next to the guy. No audio or video's been released, which I find extremely hard to believe. They're claiming this happened more than once. They're claiming this happened throughout the entire game. Now, you mean to tell me, in this era of technology where nothing goes unnoticed, in this era of heightened sensitivity, not one person captured this on video? There were over 5,500 people in attendance Friday night, and not one of them caught this on video? Look, I'm not calling Rachel Richardson or her family liars. If this happened and BYU did nothing about it, they are absolutely at fault here. They should be held accountable. My issue here is once again with reporting from the mainstream media. The Salt Lake Tribune published a scathing piece painting BYU with the racism brush. Again, no proof was given, no corroborating witnesses. The only statements they provided were from the father and the godmother, who just so happens to be running for political office. There is no such thing as investigative journalism anymore. No such thing as unbiased reporting. The media, they see a story of victimization, assume it's true, and they run with it. I'm going to keep an eye on this story over the next week or so to see if any new details emerge. I'll keep you guys posted on what I find. You know, it sucks I have to be this way. It sucks that we can no longer take people at their word in situations like this. But there have been so many cases of people crying wolf, so many cases of people being accused of racism, and it turns out to be mythical racism. It's hard today to separate truth from fiction. But let me know what you think. BYU initially agrees, then confiscates pamphlets from the alphabeters. Also, give me your thoughts on the volleyball game incident. Like I said, I don't know what's real and what's not anymore. The media's lied to us so much, it's hard to tell the difference. What do you think happened here? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.